Red alert! Set an intention. Go to Salon track.
Ahoy, hoy, friends, and welcome to the Salon. I'm your host, Stan Williams, and I'm the one those bugs that took over Starfleet were trying to contact. Tonight, we are doing a retrospective on Star Trek Picard. It's been 5 years since the incredible and my favorite first season came out, the best season. We're going to talk about all of it, the new characters, the legacy characters, the story, favorite episodes. In order to do that, I have to beam in my crew, of course. But before I do, I just want to take a quick note and welcome all of our new subscribers. We had an incredible week of growth, and I just want to say hello. Welcome to the Salon, to our new subscribers. We hope you enjoy this nonsense and tell your friends. With that, let's beam in the crew. I'm going to start with the ladies. Joanne, how you do?
Hey, it's ladies' night.
And Krista, how you do?
I do well.
And then rounding out the ladies with the gays. Here's Will.
Hello.
Here's Matt.
Hey.
Back from shore leave, it's Benji. How you do?
Hi. Good.
And the best co-host you could ask for, Trevor. How you do?
The best co-host you could ask for that no one asked for.
Cheers.
The best co-host you never asked for.
Exactly.
Friends, get excited. We are going to be talking about Star Trek Picard. Before we do, though, all of the podcast things, no visuals for this week, just doing things differently, just like this new Trek series did things a little bit differently. We are at Salon Trek, wherever you get your podcasts, here on YouTube, weekly on Thursdays, live at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. That's at Salon Trek. So check us out and tell your friends. All right. Trevor.
What?
This is where I segue into setting an intention. Would you like the video to do that?
I have to have the video to do that. It's the only rule here.
It's happening. Before we get started, Trevor is going to set an intention.
This is obvious, but don't forget to set an intention when you light it, or you're just going to be wasting the wax.
Indeed. And this is going to really throw off those who've been watching us for a little while. But if you're new here, normally this will be different. Normally I'll ask a fun question and you'll get to know us a little better as we answer the question. But tonight I decided to do something a little bit different because for the first time in 36 years, the US government decided not to acknowledge World AIDS Day. And I decided that that's what our candle burns for. So it burns for those that we've lost. It burns for those that are still with us. And it burns for, just like the Salon, the gay men and the women who love them. So to everyone, for a day of awareness that for some reason our fucked up government decided to ignore, silence is death. So we're not going to be silent. So with that, our candle burns for World AIDS Day. And cheers. Let's talk about Star Trek.
Cheers.
Act up.
It's the only way I know how to act, girl.
Well, friends,
Right.
the best episode of Star Trek Picard, or best episode, the best season of Star Trek Picard, the first season, is how we kick off our retrospective series. That's right. For the next 3 weeks, we are going to be talking about Star Trek Picard, starting with the first season. And we're going to get started with just, quick and easy, dirty top thoughts. I will kick off the top thoughts section. As I've alluded to very directly, it's my favorite season. I do think it's the best season of Star Trek Picard. It's not a knock on the other two seasons. We'll get there. But I love this first season. It's new characters. It's a new story. It's a new kind of Star Trek. It's an evolution for a character and the people around him, even new ones and a few legacy characters. I think they challenge the character of Picard in some really fun and interesting ways that continues on throughout the series. And I think it tells an important story that's bookended very well. I think it did have some hiccups, obviously, some very well-known production issues with showrunners in and out throughout, and that was true of most of the series, but it definitely impacted the production. The pandemic hit and impacted post-production in a lot of ways, but I really loved these new characters. I think Rafi is hilarious. I love her relationship with JL. I love that this story told an allegorical story. It's very quintessential Trek with artificial life and respecting that life. And I'm just excited to get into it. And I will get this out of the way now, though I'm sure we'll bring it up. I am also a ship nerd. It would have been lovely to see some other ships. I don't care about the copy and paste fleet. It works for me. It makes sense in universe. It makes sense in the real world. It would not have been that big of a deal if there were fewer ships. I think the real problem is that the Jat Vache that we had never heard of before and were super secretive and nobody's supposed to know about had over 200 ships after the devastation. Anyway, soapbox coming off. Joanne, your top thoughts on season 1, and we'll just go round the horn.
I was like, what you call me? I liked season 1 too. It probably is my favorite, although I thought 2 started stronger, but it probably is my favorite season. Some great moments, some really incredible, poignant moments, I thought. I don't know how I felt about the ending, but that's me probably with every series. I'm just kind of like, "Aw." But I really loved it. I too love Rafi. I also enjoyed Rios, and I love the little running gag of all the multiple EMH versions of him, and that they were just like international. Which I don't know if he's crazy or that's just brilliant. Like it's just I enjoyed it every time one popped up and spoke a different language. Um, I also was really excited at the time to see Seven show back up and be very badass. Um, upon arrival, I thought that was really great. Um, it was a good time. It was a good time. And probably has season 1 absolutely has one of my all-time favorites. I know we'll get there. Episodes in the franchise. So, I liked it. I liked it. Krista Friend.
It's not my favorite of the series in the franchise. I watched all 10 episodes again, and even Mr. Krista sat down to watch with me. He lasted until episode 5, where we went French and to Space Vegas. That's when he checked out. So there were some moments that I thought were funny and entertaining. Joanne mentioned the Rafi scene with all of the Rios and the variations. I thought those were funny, but I wasn't really interested in Picard as a character. I wasn't interested in any of the legacy characters at all. I found the newer characters, the darker, newer characters, to be far more entertaining for me. Jay being one, like, give me some. Can I have more info? Say more about this woman aside from Plastique Tiara. Give me more of this person. But I was reminded at the end when Kirsten said that she really hated characters that were dead, that were no longer dead. And I kind of giggled to myself with the resolution of the season. I thought that was a little. What I really wanted was her thoughts on that. So, but I'm not going to shit on anybody's parade. So, not my favorite, but also not the worst. And there were some things that were interesting. So, Benji.
Oh my God. Well, I feel like a real piece of shit because I didn't love this series when it first started, like a lot of people. I had watched it like again, I don't know when, a few years ago, and I remember like saying to myself, "Oh, this is like a lot better if you watch it all in one go." So like on Friday night, I got home from work and I watched the first episode, and then I was like, "I don't know, I think that's all I'm going to watch tonight." And then I watched the second episode. And I was like hooked. I kept watching and watching and watching until the end of Nepenthe, and I forced myself to go to bed. And then I got up the next morning and I watched the last 3 episodes, and I really loved it. And watching it all in one go, I think, is how it was intended. I think first time around, the episodes dropping once a week, I was like confused about what was going on. I didn't know why we were dealing with like 3 different mysterious Romulan sects, and I thought that was kind of silly. But I caught all kinds of things that I didn't the last couple of times around, which was like just how well woven the mythology was, and how they like plant things very early on and are very consistent about it throughout the season. Everything is extremely well thought out if you like watch it closely and like you watch it with captions and you catch all of the stuff that they're seeding. They do a very good job of putting the season together, and I'm giving it like much more respect now. It was a very good show. I think I agree now that it is the best season of this series. And they created what is like a very mature character drama. It's like a blend of character drama and sci-fi. It's like the kind of thing that I think is modern intelligent audiences expect when they watch streaming television now. And that's what they delivered. And they also did what we're saying all the time, which is that they like drilled down or like exploded out different areas of Trek, like they like the Borg reclamation, or like life at Utopia Planitia, or what is Romulan culture like after the supernova. They did that, and that's what they're asking them to do. So I just thought it was outstanding, and I found myself really loving it at the end of the season. So yeah, more to say. Matt.
First, let me know if I start to glitch out, because I think I might be having internet issues. I liked it, especially going back and rewatching. I think it was stronger than I remember. I think that it being the first iteration that we had, kind of post-Discovery era of things coming back. I think we had in our heads of like what we were really hoping for, and I don't think it was ever going to hit for all of us. I think our expectations, especially as Star Trek fans, are always through the roof, because we always want to see exactly what we want to see, and we want to write it ourselves. I do think that it had some really, really strong points, and I feel like if they had showed the juxtaposition of like, the old cast that is from that more hopeful, optimistic era of Starfleet, juxtaposed to this new, Raffi, who has been in Starfleet and is seeing stuff all around the corner because of the Romulans and because of the Dominion War. I think they could have done a little bit more with that. I think there was a lot of really good ideas, but it was definitely a lot better than I remember it on a second watch through. I obviously have to make a comment that I think the copy and paste fleet is asinine, but I also have to admit that over the years, in the last 5 years, I've come to realize my problem isn't even the amount of ships. My problem is that it looked so bad because there was no deflector dishes, and it just looked unrefined. And if you're going to copy and paste, at least have like a full ship you're copy and pasting.
The Oberth and Miranda class would like a word about deflectors.
Yeah, but at least there's nowhere to put one on them. This one just had a grill on the front. It was a literal George Foreman grill on the front of it. Anyway, it's besides the point. I thought it was better. I think that it had a lot of strong ideas that it tried to extrapolate on and then never really got to because of the 10 episodes. And I think that goes into, I think this really does prove, it sets the ground for what we've said and so many other things, from Strange New Worlds to everything else, of it's hard to tell a Star Trek story in 10 episodes. Like, you need 15 or 20 episodes a season to really get Star Trek, so you can get more nuanced and you're not just driving this main plot the entire time. But yeah, Will, what's up?
Yeah. I will say that I liked this season more on a rewatch, having not watched Picard since season 3 concluded. But I did not enjoy this season the first time I saw it. So I enjoyed it more, but I still didn't enjoy it. There are parts of it I do like, the slower, more character moments, the kind of the meditation on Picard as he's aging being less useful. Like, that is a very interesting thing for this character who has always been so commanding and had so much to do, to kind of be discarded as he's retired and aged out and left Starfleet. And in this case, kind of left in disgrace. So I liked that character stuff. I think this season really falls apart at the end with the introduction of the synthetic space portal squids. I think this season really, it didn't need it. There was so much lore, so much information, so many bits. It was like, you didn't need this. It didn't need it at all. Like, it would have been more interesting to think of why the Romulans are so against synthetic life, which actually doesn't make any sense, because there was an episode earlier, the Defector, where he said Romulans would love you, that sort of thing. So I don't think it was necessary, but it played better. I did find that, like, the things of it that I did find annoying, like when Picard finally succumbs to the brain issue he had, that he was like, oh, I'm starting to buy all my friends now. And I was like, you don't know these people. Like, they shouldn't care about you that much. Like, there's a lot of things that frustrated me in terms of, like, some of the characterization, especially like the last, like, 3 episodes. I was like, I don't need this. Like, it just felt like, because the season on itself was pretty slow, I would say, like, it took its time to do things, that they had this big rushed ending. And it just kind of, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much as I kind of hoped, like, going into it. I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get this. But there are aspects of it I couldn't quite reconcile, I guess, on my rewatch. Anyway, darling.
I agree with Stan that I think this might be my favorite season. Picard probably falls somewhere in the middle in terms of if I were to rank all Trek series, maybe toward the end of the middle. Anyway, but this season was better than I remembered. I enjoyed it more on a rewatch. I enjoy it as a binge. I don't think it's a 1 episode per evening kind of show. I like Benji kind of highlighted that it needs to be absorbed all at once, because the story just works better that way. With a few exceptions, there aren't really standout episodes. There's 1 or 2. I'm really curious to find out if Joanne and I have the same fondness for one in particular. I have a favorite that I think is a favorite, is a monument to the franchise, and I'm hoping it's the same one, but we'll see. There are a few highlights outside of that 1 episode for me. I'm particularly fond of not being able to predict where characters will end up, which is part of the thing I enjoyed about revisiting all of our legacy characters in season 3. But in season 1, focusing on, if you're going to focus on Picard, don't have him be an admiral sitting behind a desk and just grumpy that he isn't commanding a starship anymore. Like, I like the fact that we got something completely unexpected. I could not have predicted that he was just going to be sitting on the vineyard with an adorable dog who was frankly my favorite character of season 1, who did not get enough screen time. Justice for number 1. I also really, really enjoyed, there's one particular scene that I'm very fond of, which is, for lack of a better, I'm referring to it as positronic heaven. Whatever that interaction was between Picard and Data, however you want to describe that conversation and what they actually were, it was a really, really powerful scene. So I really enjoyed that, and I love that both on rewatch and just watching the scene over and over again. As far as the new characters are concerned, like I said, with the exception of number 1 being my absolute favorite, I really enjoyed Rios. I thought what a fun, clever way of getting to know all of his personality traits by having him be all of the different holographic representations. That was kind of interesting and cool. Enjoyed seeing Seven again, but I have notes. And then I think, last but not least, just a sort of a general criticism. There's a lot going on in 10 episodes. Kind of to Will's point, like we're learning way too much about the Romulans while at the same time not learning enough. Like it was a little busy. The best analogy I could come up with was walking into like a furniture store outlet. Like everything in there could be stunning, but it doesn't all belong in your living room. So like as many beautiful things as there were, like why are we trying to fit this all into 10 episodes? It would have been nicer to kind of draw that out. I'm going to assume Matt's either in need of emergency services or agrees with me. And it looked like an emphatic agreement. So we're going to run
For
with
those
that.
listening to this after the fact, he was gesticulating wildly back and forth in ways that normally you'd have to pay for.
He was doing things with his head that he normally only does in
It's
the
muscle memory, but I do appreciate that.
Anywho, those are my top thoughts.
Problematic gay alert.
And those were Matt's top.
Okay, but earned. So I want to start our retrospective discussion post top thoughts and start deep diving in some of our favorite plot bits, story aspects, because as several of you said, there is a lot happening in these 10 episodes. Not all of it is executed as well as it could have been. As y'all were talking, I was remembering some things that I wanted to bring up in my own top thoughts. For example, Rebecca Wysocki is in this show, and I totally forgot. She's my favorite ghost on CBS Ghosts as Hetty. She plays Ramda and is just totally forgotten about. Like, they're as much as they like try to resolve too quickly in some points, they also just don't resolve several things. And so just to set the scene for this part of the discussion, it's been alluded to, but for the audience's sake, one thing that I have always found interesting about the execution of this show is it was always designed to be 3 seasons, though it wasn't greenlit as 3 seasons. They only had the first one at first. However, they did know that they were getting 10 episodes, and they knew that they were going to be telling a season-long story. But for some reason, for probably many reasons, different showrunners, ideas, etc., things weaving in and out, it wasn't fully written before they went into production. And so we talked about some aspects getting rushed towards the end, some aspects they didn't know about. Like my understanding is that they were in production on episode 6, but episode 10 hadn't even been outlined yet. So they didn't know exactly where they were going, which to me makes some of the issues that we've identified come into play, right? Like, for example, the middle chunk of this first season, they seem to forget that Picard is dying. And then at the end, it's like, oh no, my brain. And like, for example, like, I will get into why later when we're in that section. My favorite episode is a lot of people's least favorite episode. I think Kirsten Beyer wrote the hell out of Stardust City Rag with an incredible set of challenges in that episode that, had she known where the end of the season was going, because that was not her call, she was not the showrunner, she could have written in, and I feel confident, like I'm not just blowing smoke because we did our interview with her a couple weeks ago, like could have written in some things. So I just want to set the production nonsense, not as an excuse, but like as a sprinkling of context for this bit. but just want to open the floor to talk about our favorite plot points and story aspects. But big one for me, and before I go to Trevor, and then just take everybody get your paddles out. That's how we're doing it from now on. The big one for me is Jean-Luc being challenged in ways that he had never been challenged. Like, he was called out on his arrogance by multiple people. He was called out on just giving up by multiple people. And I just love seeing that. And his reaction to it was varied. And I like seeing old white men get challenged and change their mind. I think it's a wonderful example to show. They missed the mark in a few places, but that's something that I really like. This character was challenged. Trevor.
Kind of on the heels of that, I love Admiral Clancy responding to Picard's "the Federation doesn't get to decide who lives and who dies" with "yes, we absolutely do." Watching that scene, it made me think, I'm sorry, did Picard forget Next Gen seasons 1 through 7, where he constantly made choices on who lived and who died? Like, never mind the fact that she gave a lot of exposition in a short period of time and did it really, really well. So kudos to the actress. But the 14 planets were like, we can't spare these resources. We need to halt this operation. They weren't saying fuck Romulus. They weren't like, screw it, we don't care about them. They were, we have a limited set of whatevers and we need to divert them to ourselves because that's our primary responsibility before we start. It's like putting the mask on yourself on the airplane when the masks drop, which never has happened, but whatever. Like, you put it on yourself before helping others. And I'm not saying it was the right decision. I'm not saying it was the wrong decision. I'm just saying Picard acts like there was no choice. And she's like, no, it was more complicated than that, Luke. Like, it wasn't just a matter of like, fuck Romulus, and that means the Federation was bad. It just means he disagreed with a decision. Her pointing out that, like, yeah, when you accept the awesome responsibility of being either the Starfleet CNC, the Federation Council, like, those decisions weren't taken lightly, and he kind of pompously acted like they were. And I really, really liked. I should keep track of those. I really, really liked that that conversation happened, even though it was quick, but it needed to be called out. On that same note, I forgot that Admiral Clancy is also one of my favorite characters of the season. The sheer fucking hubris of it all. I loved her. I would like to give her a hug at a convention one day, if that's not too much to ask, ma'am. Yeah, she was great. I loved her. I loved that scene. I loved that conversation. It did have me a little concerned that Picard forgot the job for which we all know him.
I loved when she told him to shut the fuck up.
That too.
That at long last, shut the fuck
With
up.
all due respect, and at long last.
And at long last,
That was
shut
perfect.
the fuck up.
Yeah, because
So good.
it wasn't like I hate your
I
guts.
just kept rewinding.
It very much said, like, appreciate you saving the galaxy, like, at least every season finale, but also shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Because he turns around, he does the same goddamn thing again. He's on planet Miracle Flower, and he's like,
And decides who.
yeah, everybody, I'm going to go back and I'm going to be your spokesman. I'll be your advocate. I'll be your, it's like, dude, what are you not grasping about your place in this whole, at long last, shut the fuck up.
I do want to make one tiny, like, to Trevor's point too, when we do remember that it wasn't just we're doing this, we're not doing this, fuck the Romulans. My one thing about Picard in every iteration, every season, is we forget what a huge impact the Dominion War had, and I wish they would talk more about that. Like, explain, like, Jean-Luc, do you not remember that we lost over half the fleet to fighting the Dominion? Why would we, like, we are still, like, I feel like they mention it every once in a while, but it felt like that would have been a really good chance to drive home the fact of, like, we were about to lose members of the Federation because they wanted to go out on their own because they were afraid that we couldn't defend them from the Dominion. And now that we're wanting to help like, I feel like it could have been a little more nuanced if they had more. but I absolutely agree. Like it's yeah.
Well, I think it was meant to illustrate that, he's out sulking at the vineyard. Fuck off, dude. Really? You're sulking at a vineyard? Bite my ass. So
I like
he's
that he got
sulking at a
challenged on that
vineyard
too.
with
Troy and Riker, Seven, Rafi, a bunch of people were like, and then you just gave up.
And then you just gave, but the reasoning for why he gave up, it's not because he was it's part because he's dissatisfied, but also because he very pompously believes that his thoughts are the supreme thoughts, his viewpoint, his everything. And it's like, so he, gathers up some refugee emotional support people. He moves out to the the vineyard. He gets a dog, and he's just waiting to die. And it's like, well, you are going to sit there and wait to die if you can't navigate effectively the evolving way that shit is now happening in this world. It's not your way or the highway. It's you have to navigate. You have to be willing to go along with some things you may not like. Chateau de Sulk. Yes. Great vintage. I just, the whole, I am just not down with this focus on Picard. I never found him. I just don't think that the story is interesting. That it's interesting to watch him get, like, yes, there are the moments where you're like, sheer fucking hubris and shut the fuck up. And I'm on the couch going, yes, thank you very much. But those are two separate scenes. And really it's just kind of, I think that they almost waited too long. I'm worried about who's listening to this. So I think I feel like they waited too long to give the reveal for why we're all here to begin with. It came out in like episode 7. Like, what is the Romulan problem? What is your fucking issue? What is your damage? Why are the, incestuous twins? Why are you going after Soji, the boring twin? Why are you, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't understand. It seemed like a bunch of introductions, right? Like, let's have great meet cutes, but there was no substance for necessitating a meet cute.
They had to go after the boring twin because the exciting twin exploded on a staircase that no one actually observed.
The exciting twin was about to get busy. I mean, it's like, you killed the is that like the horror basis of every horror movie?
I'm sorry, but also killed the hottest no-named boyfriend in Star Trek. Like, of boyfriends that didn't have names.
Very attractive. Why are you going to introduce me to Elnor and Absolute Candor, and then you're not going to fucking revisit that character or that frame of thought ever? Why are you?
There's a lot happening in this show.
A little bit.
All right, get defensive. Get defensive with me right now.
We're almost proving the point. It's like,
well, my one of my favorite things about this season in particular is Picard's characterization of the kid that, as soon as he's told no, took his toys and went home, and then bitched and complained and sulked about it for 20 years because that's what he would have done.
That's exactly
like he had come up to a point where he wanted to do this thing. He didn't. That moment with him and Rafi on the bench where he goes, I said either they're going to do this or they're going to accept my resignation, and they accepted my resignation. And it's like that. The having this man who was at one point the guy suddenly then lose that. And then have to deal with that also on top of him being older is interesting. I just don't think he got enough confrontation from the people around him about that enough, because you get it in the beginning. And then as soon as weird shit starts happening, people go, oh yeah, no, Picard's right about this. Or they should constantly be like, why are we taking this old man on this trip? Like there's not enough people, like even like with like Deanna and Riker, there should have been more of an acknowledgement of like, what are you doing?
Mhm.
Like it seemed like everyone was a little too eager and too ready to go along with him. They kind
I
of
felt
there's a little bit throughout there, but
Yeah.
it just felt like it should have continued through the whole season where
Yeah.
people
It
go,
felt
this
like there
guy
was a
can't do this.
scene. There was a
Yeah,
scene
that's
between
my
Troy and Picard that got dropped.
yeah, there must have been something. Like
Like,
it would
there
have been
was-
nice to have her kind of counsel him a little bit more. That's my favorite part of the season. It's because he's kind of frail. He's kind of doddering a little bit. And then they're like, oh, thanks for doing this. Now you have this cool robot body. And like, that's the part that kind of pissed me off because it wasn't about him. Like he didn't need to die at the end of it, but there could have been a workaround where whatever. I'm not rewriting the series, but like giving him the Gollum body is kind of like they wrote themselves out of a problem, basically.
Mhm.
I'm sure Patrick Stewart said at some point that Picard should die or suffer at some point this brain thing, but like it goes against the journey he had there, where it should be a journey of acceptance and moving on. Instead, it was more of I'm right. I've always been right, and I was rewarded with this cool body. And it's like, no, fuck you. You were actually wrong for most of this. Like you made an assertion and you did this very arrogant thing and drag a bunch of people. Like Girardi killed a man. She committed fucking murder. Like Seven shot vaporized a bunch of people. Like people did some
Well,
bad
she would have done that
things.
anyway.
I know. Well, I'm just saying. But these people did some committed crimes to get you to help find this android girl because she's possibly your dead coworker's daughter he painted 40 years ago. So like it's a little like, oh, this old man is doing this.
This painting is called Daughter.
Yeah.
He was really more of a sperm donor.
I had to put on the subtitles because I was like, what did he say? Because that actor, for some reason, I was like, what's daughter? I was like, what? Dotter? I was like, daughter? I didn't think daughter. It sounded like daughter. Like,
so, some director made them like really emphasize the shit out of that.
Yeah, the emphasis on the syllables was where it's like daughter, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is?
I
this?
did my rewatch via the Blu-ray so that I could watch the behind the scenes stuff, and there's a lot of interesting tidbits in there, including the Gollum of it all was designed to be sort of a bookend around the story of him finding synthetic life, getting the ban removed, proving that they're safe, etc. But again, like we've talked about, like they came to that so late in the process that they couldn't seed that earlier and make it make more sense.
It
like,
also feels,
I haven't seen that
like
much.
I'm not against gay people because I have a gay friend now.
Yes.
It's like, oh, now I'm a robot. Now it's okay. It's like, girl, no, they were always
very
fine.
Republican senator.
Oh yeah, we can all get through TSA now.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it does read like, oh, now I'm not against gay people because this one guy came out as gay. It's like, all right, girl, like, I get it, but like it's a little like you could have been okay with it. Like they could have saved him. They could have been like, oh, we use our positive, because they kind of allude to it in the Pente where like Riker's son had something that could have been solved with positronic medicine or whatever. And like, it would have been interesting if that's how they solved his brain thing was with this. And they go, we need to allow people, like they saved him. So it should be like, instead of that being like, now our best captain is now an android. So we kind of have to accept it. It's like, all right, girl. Like,
except he's also not an android because we never mention it again.
They did also uncover that Rafi was right the whole time. It was like the synths were hacked or whatever. But again, so many threads, they didn't touch on a lot of them throughout the ways that they could to make it make a little more sense. But Krista, I saw you had your hand up for a minute, and I want to respect that because I enjoy that. I enjoy the visual so that it helps me moderate.
Two things. One, you are never going to make me care. This show is never going to make me care about Daj or Soji as much as I cared about Lal, ever. Okay, that was the one episode of TNG where I was ugly sobbing by the end, just sobbing my face off. So that's never going to happen. And number two, in what world does Hugh suggest that Picard is a friendly face? Like, if I remember correctly, Picard wanted to put him out like into the replicator shredder. He was not a friend. And it's like the overwriting of Geordi there. And the overwriting of Geordi and Data's relationship kind of being subsumed into this situation. To me, those were things that were hard, that were glaringly obvious to me, and it was like I was yelling at the screen. What do you mean you're happy to see a friendly? Whose fucking friendly face are you talking about? It's not this old man. Are you kidding me? Dementia, bitch. Get your isotopes checked.
It reminded me. We talked about it at the time, the lull of it all, like it like something of like he tried to have a daughter once before, but then I can sort of see the challenge of like this show needs to stand on its own, and what they're referencing outside of what's happening in these 10 episodes needs to be explained for the current audience. I could see them because like there were people on the show who were huge fans of Next Generation. They certainly knew about Lal. So like, how do you explain it? And actually, if I recall correctly, there was a little bit of chatter of like the same thing in season 3. And people had said the explanation would have taken too long. I kind of disagree, because a mention of her, I think, would have helped solidify Picard's drive. Like, he tried to have a daughter. I was there when she died. I know how devastating that was.
Right.
He lost another daughter in front of me that he didn't even know he had. I'm going to save the boring one, even if she's boring.
Right.
Any other favorite plot bits? I love Commodore O. I love that cunty bitch.
The sunglasses.
Execution in some places, not the best.
No,
but
that was great.
But I kind of love. We will get there in 2 weeks, but not just we've done this in Star Trek before, but we literally did it 2 seasons ago of it all. But like the infiltration of Starfleet, like that's wild. There is a massive, like, what's going on? Is there a real Commodore O? Is there this, that? I love that actress. I just love the like she was funny in the cuntiest of ways. It is meant to be chewed. Like, it's just so fucking great.
I also really appreciate how we find out it's as easy to infiltrate Starfleet Command as it is to steal the Enterprise. Yeah. Like, it happens constantly. Like, everyone has a sleeper agent in the upper echelons of Starfleet.
All the cool kids are doing it.
I just wanted a flashback in season 3 of like Commodore O being like, "Yeah, come on in," to a couple of changelings. Just like, I'm out of here in like 2 weeks. So yeah, just
fine. Yo, when do you want to just take my place? I gotta go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go kill some synths. You want to take? You get it. You get it.
I will say I liked her better as Commodore O versus the general, who felt a need to put an unnecessary beat in between every word when she was speaking on the view screen. Like, once she was her general self, it was not as entertaining. But I loved her as the Commodore.
I did like that she had at least 5 planetary sterilization patterns.
Exactly. God, that was brilliant.
That's 2 more than I have.
She's nuts.
Are we going to use stripes or are we going to use polka dots? Let's do Gingham. patterns.
They're going plaid.
I just
Oh
love
God,
this-
they're going plaid.
I just love the suggestion that Girardi was so like on top of it that O had to approach her in sunglasses when like Girardi is the most space cadet. She just sort of like everything's I'm gonna go into space and whatever. I'm gonna listen to classical music and eat my sushi. And
I gotta be honest, like
the glasses off.
I
was
love
awesome.
Girardi.
But when
I
she
think
threw
she's
up
one of the
sushi,
Allison Pill, save me from fucking Allison Pill.
I loved her. I thought she did such a good job for that character.
Yeah,
like the
it's a real
character
stretch.
itself.
I thought she was great.
Different character
she sings well.
This is a great segue into favorite character. So let's get into it. Matt, you want to talk more about Girardi? Not saying she's your favorite, but since you segued us.
You know what? I will actually say, maybe not in season 1. I'm not going to say that she's my favorite character in season 1. I would say it's a strong contender for season 2, coupled with the Borg Queen, but literally coupled with the Borg Queen. I would say, I mean, Laris is. There's so many good ones. I honestly, it's Laris or Girardi for new ones. Seven for like legacy character by far. I think Seven's portrayal in this, I actually like that she wasn't in Starfleet. I do think that we needed to see at the end of it, we needed to see because of what she did and her assistants and everything. I think we should have had a moment kind of like we had in season 3 where maybe they couldn't afford Janeway. I get that. But someone that's like, hey, by the way, we fucked up. Here's your commission. You are a commander. Like how you do in the actual military. If you have enough legacy experience, you can come in at a certain rank. Like that would have made more sense. And then we lay the foundation of going into it rather than in season 2, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, by the way, off screen, got it. Yeah, everybody else is just kind of, I don't know.
I have a fun favorite, and it's not just because by saying it I'll get to see the character, but it's Rios's chest.
Problematic gay alert.
I'm not ashamed.
Used to him shirtless, and thank you, Star Trek.
And I wasn't kidding about number 1. I love number 1. I'm sorry, he should have been in all 3 seasons. He should have been in every episode. He should have gone with them on the Lost Arena. Though I may have been upset about Picard for bringing his dog on a dangerous mission.
I need a Star Trek show to show me a red alert does an automatic beaming of a dog into a padded kennel,
like a safe kennel / escape pod. Yes. Just in case. Like every time they called for like an abandoned ship on the Enterprise D, I was always like, but is Spot okay? Like, how does that work?
Livingston.
Livingston. I mean, you could reach in to grab him, but he would kill you, so that's not fun. No, number 1, like I just loved that wasn't an actor, that was an actual rescue dog, and I just wanted more of him. But I understood that part of the problem was that he wasn't an actor and therefore was kind of unruly on set, so they could only have him in a few scenes. But I love the dog.
Joanne, did you have a favorite of the new character or a favorite utilization of a legacy character?
Well, like I said, I liked Seven a lot. And I think she just should have stayed a Fenris Ranger. I didn't want her to go all Starfleety. But I also loved Rafi, and I appreciated on this second watch just how fucking brilliant she is. Like, she is the brains of this whole season, right? Like, it's Rafi's like mental power that kind of fuels all of this. So I absolutely love it. I also liked, this is probably more on the front side of it though, but I also like that, I think why I liked Seven in them was because they were very murder stabby and killy. Because, kind of the other side of Matt's point, like we don't talk about the war, and Star Trek is really guilty of that, of not dealing with the consequences of death and war. The ship blows up and everybody melts or whatever. And, but, and there's, you know what I mean? There's nothing to clean up. But no, they fucking stabbed. There's blood everywhere. They chopped that motherfucker's head off. I was, you know what I mean? You got to deal with the bodies. You know what I mean? And I thought maybe that would be more of a theme. Like dealing with, well, I guess on some level it is. I guess we could argue how well they executed it, but dealing with the consequences of the bodies. You know what I mean? That these are lives at stake. So I like that they did that they ventured into, just killing folk right in your face. Like
It was bloody and it was gruesome.
Yeah. And I don't like bloody, gruesome things, but I thought this was bold for Star Trek, because Star Trek doesn't do that.
It felt more real.
Yeah.
Joanne, would you say it boldly went somewhere it's never gone before?
It's never gone before.
Boo.
Where no one, certainly no man.
No.
I know this isn't a popular opinion, but like I guess it is, but I'm upset that they killed Icheb, but not because I like the character Icheb. I just think the actor that was recast as him is really hot. So I was like, damn, why'd they get rid of him? Like, bring back
And why
Icheb,
couldn't he
man.
have been shirtless at least?
Problematic gay alert.
Or why wasn't he tortured shirtless before they killed him?
That's my point.
Yes.
Like, let me see it. But like,
In fact,
whip it out,
you know
get it
what?
hard. Whip it out, get it hard. Like, I need to know.
Exactly.
Like, I
Like,
needed to
the
see
thing
it.
is, it should have been full frontal, just hanging like Picard did in the Cardassian.
Ooh,
That's
and
where Star Trek needs to
It's a
be.
callback.
Full pickle, Mama. I need
Yes.
to see that nacelle.
I want to
Yes.
see full hard cock. Like,
That's where the nanoprobes are.
Problematic gay alert.
nanoprobes are stored in the balls.
We're gonna lose all of our new subscribers, and it's worth it because the nanoprobes are all in the balls.
Listen, the new people need to understand.
Yeah.
Imagine the money shot on that.
Oh my god, can you imagine how much more fun that would be every time it was like, we need to extract the nanoprobes. Hold on.
Yeah.
But wait, do they have a mind of their own once they're out? Because I can't deal.
Oh.
Well,
Oh.
not until they. Never mind.
Yeah. Not until
We're
season
right on
3.
the edge of going too far. Don't.
Sorry,
Not
the
until
edge is
season
too
3.
close.
I loved what they did with 7 of 9's character. I agree. I love that she wasn't in Starfleet, and we'll talk about this in the next 2 weeks. But I think as a juxtaposition to season 1, 7 of 9 was a brilliant scientist, also a former Borg drone. Season 2 forgets that she's a brilliant scientist. Season 3 forgets she's a former Borg drone. But season 1 utilizes her status as a former Borg drone. Her PTSD is a mirror to Picard's PTSD with what's going on with the artifact and what she had to do with Icheb and what happened with Bajazil. I see how she got there. I see how she became I am actually going to get revenge. And I loved that aspect of that episode where she's like, okay, Picard, you've convinced me. I'm just going to take 2 of these. Can you beam me down? Like, I'll find a ship. And she's like, just kidding, bitch. Like, it's character development. And I fucking loved it. Like, some of her other badassery did not work out. Like, becoming a mini Borg queen was kind of pointless.
Yeah.
Although sometimes plans don't work out, so that didn't bother me as much. But anyway, I just love what they did with 7 of 9. A lot of the new characters I think really work for me as well, particularly Laris. Similar to seasons 2 and 3, I wish she had gone with them.
Yeah.
But can I just point out that, like, I would have been able to handle everything you just said had they not named her Bajazel.
Which I also wanted to point out really quickly. That does answer your question, Trev. The nanoprobes don't activate until they come in contact with the Bajazel.
The Bedazzler. I forget the character it was, but
Is it Bajazel?
I heard
I'm not familiar enough.
In the story reel, the story log for that episode, they talk about the idea of the character was inspired by something else, and so Akiva had a code name for it for a while, and then it just became Bajazel. I don't remember what character.
It's Plastique Tiara from season 9.
I also thought she looked a lot like Marina Sirtis season
Marina
1.
Sirtis.
I was like, she looked like Troy. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Absolutely.
oh
It was Timu Troy is like
no, she was gorgeous. She was
No,
fun.
she was
She's also
gorgeous.
somebody, I think, because we knew they were going to free Cloud for a while. Again, like you have your whole season done before you go into production, then they'd be like, oh, let's put Bruce meeting Bajazel one episode earlier.
Mm.
So that like we get more of her, and then it hits differently when she gets killed.
But also, I get reasons, but like, because I don't know what went on behind the scenes, but why did we recast for Maddox?
Yeah.
It made no sense because the guy is still acting.
It was unnecessary.
Oh, I heard he's not acting. I heard he teaches acting, but he's not.
Well, it's not like he had a lot to chew on. Like, I mean,
I
hey,
mean, he was gonna die. So
He might have declined. He
Yeah.
might have reached out to me. He might
That's
have
true.
declined.
That's true.
'cause I'm
Well,
sure all the nerds hate him. So yeah.
anyone with social media knows that Mono and Tereme did not decline.
No, he was not asked.
Yeah.
They went, oh, who's this new character, Ichab? Yeah.
I feel like I was going to say something and I just forgot what it was. Yay, wine.
Other characters that folks want to talk about, we still will, but we'll also talk about favorite episodes. But Matt,
Oh no, I'm sorry. Norman pointed this out, and I'm so glad he did. I will agree. I wish we would have had Natalia Magulak be CNC so that she got to tell Picard, "Are you fucking kidding me? Have you forgotten who you are?" Because she was always that constant. Even in DS9, she was like, it was always Federation first. It was always. So I think having her do it, would have been a better.
it would have been fun.
I think it would have been a fun tie back, and we know that she would have done it. She still acts now.
Oh, yeah.
Like
The coolest part about Clancy was just that her first name was also the first name of the writer.
yeah.
But yes, Alina Nechayev giving him what for would have been enjoyable. One more time would have been enjoyable over some canapes that they were.
Yeah.
Similarly, I wish it was Clancy in season 2. Like,
Yeah.
I get why it wasn't the CNC, but her being like, well, I guess everything's about you again. They were asking for you. Like that could have been a fun scene with her.
It would have been a fun tie back of her going, I don't want to be here to ask you this
Yes.
because God knows I don't want to be in this stuffy vineyard, but like
Just a cool thread, yeah, and
Yeah.
and
in
to Matt's-
continuity.
So I did
World building.
love the other actress. I thought she had very little to do, but did it
She was
well.
wonderful, yeah.
She was great, but to Matt's point, like just because of the carry through, Clancy like sitting down in the grand hall of the vineyard and just looking like, what the fuck is this place? Like, why am I in a castle? Like
Yeah.
just very like there could have been a lot of cool subtle carry throughs that would have been allowed had she been a character who had been in other episodes, but that we just get random Admiral number 47 landing in a shuttle outside. Like it was the scene was sort of the actress was wasted on a scene that could have been more impactful.
Or cast her as the
Disagree.
CNC.
I have to call out the chat and my co-panelist. I
That
love.
uniform is ugly.
I loved it.
Terrible.
I love it.
That weird little sweater she had underneath that like
Love it.
weird
I love that
fitting
scarf.
thing.
Love it.
Ugh,
I love it.
ugly.
Loved everything about it.
Ugly.
Wrong.
Wait, Trev, can you
Sometimes
go ahead and
Will
give
has
us
wrong
an expose
opinions, and this is
about
one of them.
ugly admirals uniforms really
Yes,
quick?
I'll be right back.
Let's try on that. Yeah.
Preview to STLV.
Okay, 5 minutes. I'll be right
Ugliest
back.
of Admiral uniforms, maybe making a debut.
Maybe. Stranger things have happened.
Maybe I'll wear Clancy's uniform for STLV.
There you go.
Yeah, but
And
you
I-
won't wear pants with it. You'll just wear it as a scant. I already know.
And I'm
Sure,
going
I
to
got you.
wear Nora Satie's dress.
Just the collar.
Admiral said, yeah, just the call. I think just a top shirt with some slacks would make an excellent like dress uniform kind of thing.
Or a skirt.
And, Will, I'm going to talk to you about some of your costumer friends because I have some ideas I'm going to need help with.
Oh God.
But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Favorite episodes of season 1.
Thank you for stopping the edging of me and Joanne.
Eh.
Joanne, darling, what was your favorite episode?
I don't think anybody will be surprised. Maybe Trev will when I say it is Nepenthe. And not only of the season, I think it stands among the greats of the franchise.
Yeah.
If for no other reason, then it is a very interesting take on the cycles of grief and loss and loyalty and love in a way that is so sophisticated and so well done that I was just like, bravo. Plus, I love the Troy Rikers or the Riker Troys. So that was just an added benefit. But start to finish, Nepenthe was brilliant.
We are as one. We are as one. I was worried. I'm like, oh God, don't let the universe collapse on me.
I know. It's the Free Cloud episode now.
Girl, I was a little concerned, but I was like, nah, she's got this. Not only was it everything that Joanne just described, it's quite possibly the best work Marina's ever done. I was completely blown away by her performance. And granted, she did have grief to tap into, but Marina does not have children and has never had children and didn't like tapping into the experience of I'm moving forward, but I'm not sure I'm doing it right. I'm not sure I'm capable of doing this. I could fall on my face at any given moment. But also, I am incredibly good at my job, and my job is needed right now, and I'm going to lean into that to help this person who's meant a lot to me. The scene of her using her empathy without actually conveying that she was using her empathy, the quick glance at Picard and the what's wrong, and then the sort of panic, and he's like, no, I'm fine, and she knows that he's lying.
It hits. I just rewatching it this week. It hits.
Literally the only thing wrong is that I wish that when she walked out at the beginning, when the camera's sort of panning around the Troy Riker cabin and she comes walking out with her pruning shears, that she looks out and sees them walk up, she hears Kestra. That happens first. I would have loved for her to walk out and sort of stop and look like there's something familiar occurring, and then her look over and see them coming. Like, to sense Picard would have been a really cool moment. Granted, we got the amazing moment of her sensing him basically lying about his imminent death. But her picking him up before she could see him would have been a really neat kind of moment for those of us that know what the hell we're talking about when we talk about Star Trek. That, and I kind of wish there had been an old clay pot with mold growing inside of it, sitting somewhere off in the corner. Because the Chalice of Reeks,
The Chalice of Reeks.
The Chalice of Reeks sitting on her back porch would have been fan-fucking-tastic.
Wait, if she had walked out carrying an old clay pot, like, no, it doesn't have to be said anything, but it's like just a moldy old clay pot,
and just like
it's her watering can.
Yeah. And then two things that didn't make the episode bad, but they didn't damage the episode at all, but I wish had been present. The first one is just an acknowledgement of Majel's passing by acknowledging that maybe the character had. So like, I'm so sorry about Loaxana. Like something that acknowledged would have been really, really just sort of a cool moment. And then the other thing that I wish had carried through into season 2 was actually if they hadn't killed off Elnor in order for that to be sort of the gift back when Q returns everyone to the present. It would have been really cool if Elnor had survived, and so the gift that Q gave was something that he knew Picard would want, which was Thaddeus Troy Riker coming back somehow. Like bringing their child back would have been, I think, more meaningful to Jean-Luc than returning Elnor from the dead. But like, just don't kill Elnor in the first place, and then you can actually bring someone else back. Maybe it undermines the grief story after it's all said and done, but I think it would have been amazing to see that occur and what the rippling effect of that would be. But anyway, that's just me. But yes, Nepenthe is an extraordinary episode, and I love it for the Marina of it all.
Any other thoughts on Nepenthe? Or anybody have another favorite episode they want to talk about?
No. I mean,
How sorry are we that we didn't get to meet Thad Troy Riker?
Yeah.
I mean, he made a language with the beating of wings. To me, that's what made that episode. Just that little teeny scene of such a person with so much potential being snuffed out. And that's the real horror behind what has happened and why everybody is traumatized and why everybody is where they are now. But it's very subtly presented, and it's presented, kind of through the eyes of a lost child and those that remain behind who remember the child and want to celebrate the child. But I just thought it wasn't it doesn't have words. It was done with the beating of wings, and I thought that's just a brilliant way to sort of describe grief and death. It has no words. It is just the beating of things happening, and
it doesn't stop.
And it doesn't stop, and it just keeps going, and you just have to make your way through.
So I amend my resurrection wish and wish that maybe we had gotten some flashbacks.
Yeah. I really am sorry that we didn't get him.
Yeah.
There's some fun stuff.
It's kind of weird.
Only to see like Riker fishing with him. Like just you kind of, I mean, how do you not to me it's criminal that and I'm sure Jonathan Frakes didn't have time, but it's criminal that he was not given a side project himself, because he really is as a character the best man out of all of the men available. He really is the best one.
I loved Nepenthe because of his friendship that with Picard that was highlighted, like how it had grown since they were serving together. Like they're on a first name basis now. They make it clear. I love you.
Physical touch between heterosexual or well, Riker maybe a little, but anyway, between heterosexual men.
The future is pan. The future is pan.
The future is probably pan. But
non-sexual touch between two men.
Thank you. Yes. It was
the male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted, and Picard and Riker show that it doesn't have to be. I think the only thing that didn't work for me in that episode was they tried too hard to connect it to other stories. That Thad could have been saved by a posi touch. That was the system we used at Outback. Panasonic was the other one. Positronic.
You're revealing your age.
Samsung had come through.
I know. if only the Atari was
for the Sony of it all.
You just said Posi Touch.
That's what it was called.
I live right now.
That's what it was called. That they needed a positronic matrix to save Thad, but it had been banned, which was also like it was something that had come up since between Nemesis and Picard, technology that did not exist beforehand because Data was the only one. Like that connection, it was just one step too far. Like that his death didn't need to be connected to the synth ban to matter.
Mhm.
Also, in no universe do I believe that the Troy Rikers would be like, "Oh, it's illegal. I guess our son does."
Right.
Yeah.
They
They have a
literally
whole
go to a
rigged
special
house. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
they
would
go
have
to a
been
special planet, but they're
We're going to
not letting you just go to
Cardassia. Bye,
Stardust City.
everybody.
Star Trek Troy Riker, The Saving of Thad, episodes 1 through 15. Like, and
Yeah.
they,
You
that would
can't
have
tell
been.
me that Captain Crandall could not have located the shit that they needed. Fuck
Speak-
off,
I'm-
man.
I'm
Captain
glad you brought
Crandall,
that
I
up.
want to know that guy.
I'm glad you brought that up because
Thank you.
on this rewatch, it was slightly less weird. However, I needed one more line of like, Captain Crandall gives presentations at school about starships. He runs a forum where you can ask questions. Something like, why is 12-year-old Kestra Troy Riker texting with a man who she had previously said was older than Picard? Like,
Also, I didn't like that she just like asked him. Like, I wanted Kestra to figure it out, like to figure out the puzzle because she's super
Yeah.
fucking smart. But
yeah.
she just like fucking asked, like, yeah.
I asked Crandall, but you guys go off and help Jean-Luc. I'll be at Crandall Island. No. See, I needed another line. It like
On Crandall
shit's
Moon.
weird. Shit's weird. Other thoughts on Nepenthe, an otherwise wonderful episode.
Subtle pedophilia. Oh, sorry.
Who else wants to talk about Stardust
I
City Rack? 'Cause
literally just turned Nepenthe in the Epstein files. I can't even. Yeah.
Also, why
Yeah,
okay,
Listen,
they go to
Star Trek has always been an allegory of our time.
Okay, also,
I don't know that
why
it ever
didn't they
predicted
just-
our time.
Why did
I mean,
Oh,
they
okay.
kind of did with the synthetic of it all.
Mhm.
Other
Matt has his
episodes.
hand up. Matt has his hand
Matt
up.
has his hand up. Matt.
I only have one thing left about Nepenthe to say. Why did we need a new fucking planet when we had Baku?
Yeah.
It would have
Because
done
we
the same
didn't-
thing.
Baku's far and hard to
First
get
of all,
to,
bless
isn't
you.
it?
Second of all, because we didn't want to pay the writers of Star Trek Insurrection.
That's the same. Yeah, for the same reason it was a brain abnormality and not neurotic syndrome.
And then there would
Although
have been
in-
awkwardness between him and Anise.
Also, he didn't want to have
He doesn't want
to the 300-year-old demon by never return.
But in All Good Things, Crusher does say it could turn into any number of things.
Yeah.
Including a
necessarily
really
good.
weird shoehorned plot device by the Borg and Changelings.
Yeah.
Funky Spunk. It turned
We're just
into
gonna-
Funky
we're-
Spunk.
We're going to be disrespectful and retcon our own series. We'll get there in 2 weeks. I have thoughts. But I want to talk about Stardust City Rat because I know everybody hates it. I
like it.
love that shit. I love a heist kind of thing. I love that janky ass French accent. The disgusting, the Borg, they do these things. I am not Jean-Luc Picard. This is what I would have sounded like if they made me do the accent the whole show. I apologize.
I always posited that's what he's that's what he sounds like with the universal translator off when he's trying to speak English.
Yeah.
The crew of Star Trek Picard walking around City Walk at Universal Hollywood like made no sense to me.
No, they were dressed like pimps, which I really didn't understand. It was
Though
like,
that does
Really?
bring up a cosplay for
oh,
STLV idea.
he needs a feather in his hat. I'm like,
I don't-
why is he? Well, like, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. I was like, is Robert Blake up in here? What the fuck is
But
happening?
Seven's
Keep your
execution of that
eyes
Thank
on
you.
the sparrow.
Thank you, Joanne.
And to
I watched
Joanne's
a
point
lot of
earlier,
I love.
Rafi figuring that shit out. I've implanted some data over here so that you'll be whatever. I'm gonna give you a shot of some bullshit so that Dominic Burgess isn't gonna smell your lies. I loved it. I loved, like, I could have used more Bejazel. It fleshed out a little bit. I loved her henchmen. Everybody beaming out. They're like, oh, bye. Like it That's one thing about the season overall that I love. Also, in absolute candor, in these 2 episodes, there's a lot of humor built in that we don't always get in Trek. Like Rafi coming in absolute candor and being like, "Are you out of your goddamn mind?" And then her saying, "I'm going to be straight with you," and Picard is like, "Oh, well, that would be a refreshing change." Like him being sarcastic. We got those little moments in throughout, but especially in absolute candor in Stardust City Rag. But Stardust City Rag being just such a wildly different episode of Star Trek in a wildly different series of Star Trek, I think was a lot of fun. It misses the mark in a few places. I get why some people don't like it. I thought it was a hell of a lot of fun.
I would actually say that's probably like Nepenthe is too easy to say it's your favorite because it's not the episode that's your favorite. It's Troy and Wright. Like
No,
that's
it's
what
the episode.
Maybe just speak for yourself.
Well, for me at least. Sorry.
No.
I will speak for myself.
No.
I will speak for myself. Like that's what I like about Nepenthe. I like Stardust City Rag as an episode more. Like I think I want to see more of that in Star Trek. I want to see outside Starfleet. I want to see these things. I think, obviously, Bejazzle is, we don't need that. But like, it was fun to see those characters kind of be like, we finally don't have to like be Starfleet uptight. It was, I really enjoyed it.
Girardi freaking out about needing to press a button to beam them back was the one thing that like kind of got me like that should have been a clue for everybody. Like, hey, something's amiss with this chick.
The cyberneticist who doesn't know how a transporter works.
Yeah, like her being nervous, like, and I get it. Like, it's because she's like, oh shit, I'm gonna see him. Like, it should have been a red flag for the other people. Like, why is she being weird about this very simple task? And then it's because she was hoping she wouldn't find Bruce.
Also programmed to murder.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Also, she's
hologram should
programmed to
have
murder him.
activated then. Like, you have
No,
had
she
a fucking
deactivated
psychotic
it.
break. Like, you were having a breakdown.
The hollow was great.
Yeah.
Please, yeah.
What is the
Please.
nature of your cybernetic or your psychiatric episode?
It should have happened when she started freaking out then. Like, y'all need to put her in timeout.
Yeah.
I
also liked we've talked about like we've mentioned a few places that like, oh, they could have done this, they could have done that. Rios's holograms, I think they explained it perfectly because like in that situation, it's very easy to understand. Like, you shouldn't be able to turn off the emergency medical hologram, but they've already explained Rios hates the holograms, so he probably has made it very easy to shut them down. So like little things that I would normally nitpick in that aspect got squared away really easily by the characterization of Rios. I fucking hate that hospitality hologram. Great line.
Can I just say, like, what a brilliant acting exercise for Santiago Cabrera. He was so fucking good. Every single one of those holograms, like the performance was spectacular. I noted episode 8, Broken Pieces, as one of my favorite episodes of the series, but I also don't remember why, because it's like one of like just like part of the entire season, so I don't remember specifically. But the scene where like all the holograms are gathered together in Picard's study to figure out like what happened and why they can't remember, why their memory's blanking, is one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Trek. And my God, what a fantastic performance! Like bringing all of those characters together. It's just,
and again,
so
a highlight, like his acting brilliance, but also another highlight of Rafi's brilliance of like, okay, we're gonna figure this out, and like just a touch of humor. I mean, not even a language, just chef's kiss all around. It was so funny.
So good.
Well, friends, we may be coming to the end of the episode, but I want to make some space for other favorite episodes or plot bits, story aspects we haven't talked about. Anybody have anything that we haven't talked about yet to discuss from Picard season 1?
That whole scene, that whole like Anne Ricey, Ryan Murphy, Talamasca scene with the eight stars and the the
admonition.
ancestors doing the admonition, and they're peeling off their faces, and it was like that was wild. I'm gonna hit myself in the face with a rock.
Yeah,
this is so frightening. I'm gonna
Okay.
bludgeon myself. I thought that was kind of
Intense.
well. I mean, I think it came late. Again, it's one of those things where it's like I don't know how, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but if it came earlier, it would sort of explain to me why the Romulans have such a hard on over this.
Mm-hmm. That reminds me of Sutra. There was one good thing that Sutra did, and one thing they did with Sutra that I needed another line of dialogue about their abilities. When she says maybe that message wasn't meant for you,
right.
And that explains. Oh, that's why they go nuts, because living life is not supposed to be. You're not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be for artificial intelligence, artificial life, and that's why they go nuts and they misinterpret. Well, they don't misinterpret the message, but it also makes them go nuts. And that thing that I did not like or needed, you can't learn how to do a mind meld. If she had studied mind melds and had reconfigured her fingers to make neural connections, I know Will loves it when I rewrite an episode of Star Trek, but I needed one episode or one line that's like you can't learn how to have a mental ability that exists within a different species, but if I could connect my neural whatevers, yeah.
Right, but that's what made it so dangerous, right?
Yeah.
That's what made that was the point.
Yeah. You've been
because I remembered a big plot point.
What's up?
I'm mad at myself that I forgot about this entire thing until just now because you mentioned that. I realized, going back and rewatching this, I'm also replaying, I don't know how many people have played Mass Effect, the video game Mass Effect.
Nerd.
Which none of so this whole thing.
I'm a grown up.
Shock. Okay, well, it came out 12 years ago.
Every story's already been written. Everything is derivative of everything else. Every bar in a sci-fi setting is the Mos Eisley Cantina.
No, but legitimately, I forgot that the entire plot of Mass Effect that came out in 2003 is Picard season 1. It is this artificial life is trying to summon this big godlike artificial life that comes and wipes out all of organic life every time it reaches a certain level. It is literally this entire plot, note for note as you're playing the game.
That's an oversimplification of Mass Effect. I've played it too. There are similarities for sure, but it's not literally the same plot.
Nerds, you're both nerdy.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention that I thought it was a really interesting, it is a very close parallel. I mean, yeah, it
is an interesting parallel. There are a lot of similarities for sure, but this reminds me of every cop show, every medical drama is basically the same thing. It's in a sci-fi setting, it's more obvious that plot bits are the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, but that completely discounts the fact that all of this was provoked. They provoked their own ending. Everybody provoked this. Everybody was fine. They were on their magical butterfly flower place, and everything was fine. And then some group of 12 whack jobs go out 1,000 years ago and listen to and rip their faces off after being told this could potentially happen. And what do? They fucking turn around and make it happen. It was all self-manifested. This whole thing, the whole season could have been avoided, is my point.
But who hasn't pulled their face off after seeing it?
The whole season avoided. It doesn't. I mean, it's all of it.
It's an inside job.
All the gravity.
It was like my sixth face.
Yeah. Oh goodness, Trevor.
What?
I think it's that time. Can you land the ship, please?
I'd be happy to. There were 4 problematic gay alerts. There was 1 Ken dad joke. Well done, Matthew. Stan made a bad segue once, but it was in the pre-show, but it still counts. I gave 200 bonus points to Benji for really enjoying the drilling down. I gave 125 bonus points to Matt for inventing the George Foreman deflector, the cleanest, healthiest way to deflect. I gave 1,500 bonus points to Krista for telling JL to shut the fuck up vicariously through Kirsten Clancy. I gave 1,000 bonus points to Will for questioning upon which syllable one should place their emphasis. I gave 2,000 bonus points to Joanne for daring to ask, "And where is the body?" I gave 1 million bonus points to Lol for being the forgotten daughter. I gave 500 bonus points to Captain Crandall for literally saving the galaxy. And last but not least, I gave 500 bonus points to Mr. Krista for hanging in for at least 4 episodes.
You did it, Mr. Krista. You did it.
He did it.
Friends, that's the end of our salon for the evening. Thank you very much to our friends in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. We are at Salon Trek everywhere. We will be back same time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Same channel at Salon Trek here on YouTube. Podcast platforms the next day. Next week, talking about Star Trek Picard Season 2. Get excited. And until next week, please do live long and prosper.
All hands abandon ship. Proceed to the nearest evacuation zone immediately.